right, Jimmy. Today was freaking awesome, man. I appreciate you having us here. I've never really done anything like this before with active retired military people that have been through traumatic incidents. I have when people have survival at sea stories, but nothing like I did today. So appreciate you having us, man.
I
And
appreciate you guys being here.
yeah. I want to just let everybody know like what you got going on here and a little bit of background of you, how you got started and your whole career and all that stuff. So if you don't mind telling us.
Sure, I'll try to be concise. So I did just over 30 years in the Navy. 26 of that was as a SEAL. Started off at SEAL Team 8, and then I went to development group, and I spent the rest of my career there. And through that career, just worked at the literal tip of the spear, if you will, and was associated with everything from very high-end research and development to execution of some interesting operations, and also had the ability to work with a bunch of very interesting high-end other agencies and folks. And so that just really crafted a mindset of get things done, don't take no for an answer. And I was senior enough where I was exposed to things like budgeting and funding, and you can generally tell a younger guy that didn't have as much experience because they will get super emotional about not getting funding for certain things, and you realize there's a process. You just got to figure out the process, and you learn how to say yes in a different way and play strategically. Retired in 2015. After a great career, and then I decided I wanted to serve in a different capacity. So I started Valhallas Forge, which is for-profit entity. We make custom wood and metal and all sorts of different things. And we make almost all the pieces for the families that have fallen within my community. And then we transition. Throughout that process, I had some guys come in the shop, and we identified that there's a pretty big shortfall in the support network for first responders, mostly.
Absolutely.
So we make flags for every single fallen police officer and firefighter taking the line of duty nationwide. We've sent out hundreds and hundreds of pieces. We hosted events for firefighters, police officers, wounded warriors. We've had multiple Boy Scout troops like spend a night in the shop, building stuff. We have a relationship with the local retirement home that's a veterans retirement home. So like literally they come in their bus and they're rolling in wheelchairs. And what's really cool is at first they're lethargic and such as you'd kind of expect. And then the spark lights and they come back, and even the ones with dementia, they come back and they're like apologizing that they can't remember all the stuff. Like, no, it's great. And so,
isn't it weird how people with dementia? Sorry to interrupt, but like my grandmother had dementia, and completely lost it, but they remember weird things. I don't know, maybe if you see that, like
I think given the right environment, with my limited exposure and positive way of pushing things towards them, they come to life.
Yeah, it's weird, right? They come to life.
Yeah. And so it's been a big blessing, and we wrote our rules for Valhallas Mission Force, the nonprofit. We wrote our bylaws to be super loose on purpose. I sat down with lawyers and I'm like, listen, we're going to help anybody we want to help. And so we've funded everything from hyperbaric training or chamber stuff to help guys, therapies. We're working with the 20 different foundations. We bring in Mutts with a Mission. We host their events. So they're bringing wounded warriors and such that are getting a dog. The dog gets some training and the guys get some time. And we go through like our knife build and do some things with them. So we're a little, if I went on Shark Tank, they'd probably kick my butt because they would like, hey, Jimmy, you got to narrow your focus. But
no,
I'm more of like, hold my beer while we save the world.
You said something today that was really cool. Like, you're not settling for gold. I mean, you focus on one. I mean, not selling for bronze. You're
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna focus, and I wouldn't worry about any of that, and
Yeah.
just you're doing a great job. Go
Yeah.
for it all.
What's interesting is, some folks would say we need to narrow our focus. What they don't see on the backside is that in my life, I've brought it down to just my family, the business, and I literally don't know who won the last Super Bowl. Like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't follow any of that stuff. Doesn't mean I don't like it. And it's not that I don't respect it. Like, I tell folks all the time when I think golf is probably the greatest sport ever. I mean,
It's very relaxing.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. And it's you go out on the green and you're looking left and right, and there's this team of folks that make sure it's perfection. Everything's set up. You can have a couple drinks if you want to have with your friends. You get a good cart of folks, and you're just cruising around.
Talking, and
it's magnificent. And the sport is so hard. It's unbelievable. And I love it, and I could play it every day. I play once a year at one event where there's a fundraiser, and if some folks have taken care of me and I go to that event. It's not that I don't not like golf. It's that I have a diet of where my time and effort go. I realize I can make a massive impact if I keep my focus where I need to be applied and make the difference where I can make it. So a lot of the foundation events, we make stuff that raises crazy money for a bunch of different folks. We made a box this year for the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and we did explosive artwork, like literally the invasion map of the Normandy invasion. We blasted it into a brass plate. I'm pretty good at explosives. Anywho, so it's like a really detailed map. It's really cool. And we made the box. Another company, Cabot Guns, makes the finest 1911s on the planet. They're pure masters. And so they collected metal from all these different locations, brought it to that made the Normandy invasion, metal that actually made it. Took that metal, brought it to the top blacksmith in the United States. He made billets, and they made pistols out of those billets. That all most of it went to the Navy SEAL Foundation. That box went for $100,000. So that's where we apply our efforts, so that each, being very deliberate about the application of the time and effort to make sure we're making the most money possible and the most helping the most people. And so is
that where you find that you guys raise the most in those kind of auctions and stuff like that?
We raise crazy money for folks.
I bet.
Really do.
I mean, did grants help as well? And
for them, they have their entities.
You got your own mission, and
I have high hopes that we'll secure some. We have great volunteers. We have some volunteers. Tammy right now might be the A game volunteer, so she might be able to fill the gaps. Today I talked about, don't try to get good at all the stuff you're bad at. Find people that fill those gaps. So I'm not great at paperwork. I'm not great at the grants. I'm great at helping people. I'm great at making things. You're
great at talking. The things you said today are...
It's all the truth. I didn't really come up with any of that shit. I was surrounded by champions for decades. And I mean champions, like when you walk the hall, these people were the best of America, from physical prowess to mental, social, just crazy, crazy talented people. And it forced anybody that was in that building to be humble, because if you compared yourself to those people, they were so good at what they did. It would mess with you. So you just, either you're confident and you can walk with giants and be happy about who you are, or you need to leave that place quickly. And I just loved working there. It really gave me a different, I had a constant reminder for decades of how to kind of work and not giving up. And that doesn't mean we never stopped doing things. We would take a tactical pause if it made sense. And if something was a bad idea, we would kill it. But we would, if the mission was important, we would redirect of how we're going to do that. And it was kind of fun watching it.
What have you learned that's been the most effective just since you've started doing all this? Because I know there's a bunch of different I heard that you guys are going to Costa Rica. Is that where it is? Or it's
We support the folks that go down to Costa Rica for the mushrooms and stuff, and psychedelics. We support some of the
I was gonna
foundations for
ask that
psychedelics.
question, yeah.
There's no doubt it works.
Mhm.
There's no doubt that it helps. I personally haven't used it, but as I mentioned when I had the team here, um, before I'm going to take and hit the Amazon button that says I'm going to get some drug or something or
Mhm.
get my brain zapped to make me better, I'm going to eat right. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to watch my social media and the negative things that are getting in. And I'm going to look at the folks I'm socializing with and make sure I got A game people sitting in front of me. And every time I've ever done that, good old Jimmy shows up and I'm good to go.
That's awesome.
I don't need mushrooms to be
No.
okay.
Everybody's different,
And some people do.
and that's okay.
I just start off with like, I need to do the right thing. Maybe I cut back my drinking, whatever that is. And next thing you know, I'm going to be, uh,
We talk
Ferrari's
about
back.
complacency today, and that was one thing. I get people that come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, congratulations," blah, blah, blah.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, very nice, thank you, but to me, I'm always just like, I'm not even close to done yet. Like, I got
yeah.
so much more I wanna do
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I get that people are in a position of where the potential self harm enters their mindset, doesn't enter mine. As a child, I struggled with some stuff, um, but for the last 40 some years now, things are pretty good.
Mhm.
Uh, but understanding that brothers and sisters may be struggling, I think that's important why we bring them in here. Some of the best people that come in this shop are the ones who forgot how good they are. And we just gently
L
re
Remind them, man.
I don't even know if I intrusively remind them for a bit. I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you can't deny it. You're look at look. You're pretty awesome.
You're pretty
You're
badass.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe the wheels are falling off a little bit. Well, I'll figure out how to get this back on."
Yeah.
And for the folks who are truly struggling, we do wellness. That's when I pass them off to the professionals. We don't do professional stuff. We're not
You're not a
professionally trained, but I know warriors. I know men. I know women. I know high performance teams. I know what that takes. I could speak to that in depth every day, all day. And sometimes people just need that.
yeah.
A couple encouraging words. And the beauty of like when we're making the knives,
Yeah, can
it's
you tell
like,
us a little bit about what we did today? I
yeah.
mean
So when we make knives, you know, I use the knives as a catalyst.
mhm.
So A, it's cool. And then B, 99.9% of people have never built a knife.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I've
I
never
got
built
them in
one.
there. They're out of their comfort zone. They're doing something they didn't even know they could do, and they're making it. And we make sure that it's successful.
Mhm.
Like they spiked the ball in the end zone. We also kind of push them to give us a little bit of their psyche, what they're about, who are they, what they're about. So in maybe their family, like we had the lady that who her husband, her
Yeah.
grandfather was a Navajo,
Yeah.
uh, code talker. How cool is that?
Yeah.
That doesn't suck. And I didn't realize that the code talkers were in part of the invasion force in Italy. And she's
No.
like, "Hey, my grandfather was here in Italy." I'm like, "What, in the drawers?" Found a bag I don't even think we've ever used. Sicily invasion,
That's
sand
crazy.
from the invasion area in Sicily. Her grandpa was stomping that dirt,
Yeah.
So she got something in her knife that was sacred to her already. And now we got the brain going and we're talking about faith. We're talking about mindset, how you want to be, where you want to be. We're making something that is going to have emblems on it that articulates what you're about. I push them to think 40 years, 30 years in the future. Some little kid picks us up from the family. And what's it mean to be part of your family?
Mhm.
The knife should tell that story. So it's a,
I noticed a lot of them today were giving them to their parents too, which I thought was pretty cool, you know?
there's never an event where And I think it was great. We had the psychologist in here, and he was like, he even got a little choked up. There's never an event where people don't get emotional. And it's not, it's just this place is raw.
Yeah.
It opens you up, and it squeezes some pores that maybe haven't been opened for a long time. And there's, I joke around about the Christmas movie. The whole, we're like Rudolph, in his little adventure, he's got the land of misfit toys at one point in time. Got to that
Yeah,
island,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the broke things, and this shop is that.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you just, we're all broken a little bit.
Some of
Figure
this,
it out, and we give those folks an opportunity to resharpen the blade and reflect and hey, maybe you did some stuff in the past that you're not proud of, whatever. Well, you could be a great person today,
hmm yeah.
and
Why
you can do
wait?
it in the future. You know,
hmm
All right, guys, this week's episode is brought to you by Turtlebox. Turtlebox is becoming the best waterproof and Bluetooth speaker in the industry. They are basically indestructible. You can throw them in the water, you can run them over with your car. I bring it everywhere. Besides just the boat, I have it on the beach, I have it working out at the house. They freaking crank. I'm telling you guys, the best speaker in the industry. So check them out.
Do you keep in touch with a lot of these guys that come in and out here like that?
it's hit and miss,
Mhm.
but some folks, I mean, like it's going to be a lifelong friendship.
Absolutely.
I mean, we had a recent one. We had CEOs from across the United States come in, like power hitter CEOs, came and talked to them. And one of those guys is going to be a lifelong friend. He was struggling, and he came in, and we've had some great heart-to-hearts. And I'm like, hey, come on out. We're going to ride motorcycles in Colorado. And when he's having a hard day, he calls me. Like, hey, Jimmy, got 2 minutes? I'll talk to you about this, that, and the other thing. I got maybe a half dozen people like that we just communicate.
It's sometimes
and-
all they need. Like they talked about it today, just a phone call or a hug or something,
And, when we're talking, I think the beauty of talking like we are right now, it's not that I'm spitting out all the answers, when we're discussing something, as you articulate your points that you're trying to frame for me to kind of maybe give my opinion on,
Mhm.
more often than not, you come up with the answer yourself,
Mhm.
being, I don't think I'm very I didn't think I was very good at talking with people, but apparently I am.
You're pretty damn
So
good.
I mean, I'm able to get them to come to their own conclusion. My job when I talk with them is not to guide them and tell them. My job is to ask questions that force them to realize where they think the answer is, and then kind of come up with their own thing. Because it's got to be their win. It's
Mhm.
got to be their
Their motivation, their drive, and
and if it's mine, it might not be what they're supposed to do. As corny as that sounds, it's just
no, I get it. Yeah.
and that little finesse is where we win. But yeah, the blessing of the foundation is the ability to bring the folks together. We're having very good luck within Virginia.
Okay.
We got the state police involved. We got local police involved. We talk with the police recruits. Kind of have my vision as a cradle to grave approach. So we get them early as the recruits. We get them while they're operating, giving them tune-ups, mindset, lifestyle approach things. We take care of them at retirement, where they've probably seen a lot of trauma.
hmm
And then later on, after they're fully retired, and we bring them in some more.
That's awesome.
And, it's like we got the retirement home folks
And you built
coming in.
a big community out of it.
It's good.
It's awesome, man.
And I think I ran selection at Dam Neck, and, we would be measuring everything, looking for ways to see where people were falling on things. And I think a great measurement that we have is that we have these volunteers that come in. Today, we had a bunch of volunteers.
I noticed that.
Like, they ain't
Yeah.
getting paid.
No.
They just come in.
hmm
They just come in.
That's
They
awesome.
support it. They keep doing it. And
I wanna help.
And I'm like terrified. I'm like, Jimmy, don't screw this up.
Dude, I was telling you.
Because that trust, we have hundreds of historic artifacts. We have pieces of the B-1 bomber, U-2 spy plane. We got sand from Thermopylae where 300 men
All
made
the
a
stuff
stand
from
against the Persian
9/11.
army. We got crazy shit. The single greatest thing we have by far, most important, trust. And so I'm terrified of losing that. So I try to move very carefully. I'm human,
Yeah.
and perception and all this kind of shit is tough, and making sure that comes off clean is critical.
Mm-hmm.
Critical.
Yeah. You don't want
a
to.
guy like you, you're running a podcast, and there's a lot of great folks out there running great podcasts. The ones who allow themselves to be vulnerable, stick to their guns, can be influenced, but you're gonna have to fucking prove it. Like, they don't just, okay. No, you get Joe Rogan, he's gonna challenge your mind.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Very, very.
challenge your opinion. And if you can articulate why you feel the way you feel correctly, he will strongly consider jumping on board with you.
Mm-hmm.
Or he'll respectfully, I'm not sure I agree with
And
that,
that's
but
fine.
I understand your thing. And
Yeah.
and it's a respectful exchange of concepts and stuff. And there's a lot of answers to the test in the way Sean Ryan and those guys are doing things.
I
Because
just like
there's
talking and meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is something I've never done before.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
And being able to utilize what I have,
Yeah.
like this platform that I
Yeah.
got lucky and built, why not take it and use it to help somebody like what you guys are doing?
Dude, man.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be anything like this. It's just, I have the capability to spread the word, hurricane relief funds, all this stuff. I mean, why the hell not?
When I look at what you're doing, what I love about it, there's all the people sitting outside. We look out the window out there, walking around drones, poor bastards. Wonder if they know how poor their lives are.
Yeah.
But because they just walk around, they have spent their life mimicking, haven't had original thought in their entire life. Not saying they're not smart. They're just drones. They're walking around. Guys like yourself, you have identified a hole where you can possibly impact, professional boating and things like that.
And that's what I want to focus on.
You've seen some trash on the ground. You're like, hey, that's not being addressed. So you like pick that up. You're like, you can't pick it all up, but you knew that you had the talent and you had the background and you know enough on that where, I think I can fix this. And so that's courageous. And I love that you're doing that. We're
Appreciate it.
We're mirror image.
And when you said earlier today, like we're gonna go for gold, I'm gonna be a champion,
Dude,
and that's what I want to do in this industry, and I love it, man. I mean, the stories, we're just getting started too. So
and that hunger, that mindset, the we will crush it, we will own this, we are going to make this happen. Then all of a sudden, the sky's open.
I mean, we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to even do it. I mean, waking up every morning,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. And you have to, depending on where your faith falls, and I'm a pretty big man of faith. I've really tried to pay attention to where the good Lord is expecting me to go and what he wants me to do. And I've been blessed so much, man, so much. I tell people all the time, I don't think the good Lord is, he loves everyone. That's a given. That's been established. But he's not empowering everyone. You've been empowered. I've been empowered. There's a burden of responsibility that goes with that. And we're supposed to be doing things to help folks and make things better. And, you're doing that in spades and in our small way. That's what we're doing here. And the notion that I'm looking for a lot of approval.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My alpha kicks. I'm like, I need your approval. I'm going to do this.
I learned
we just, that's where we're going to be infectious. Be infectious with your positivity that you can get it done. And all of a sudden people are looking at you like, maybe I should do that. Yeah, maybe you should. I'm not saying I don't put a boot in people's ass.
I learned
these boots get dusted on a regular basis. I have no problem tuning people up, but we're heading in a certain direction, and
it's a great direction.
It's privilege.
I was told one thing growing up, and it was always, he said to me, he's like, if you just do the right thing in life and be a good person, the things will fall together for you. And I mean, you're still gonna have to work hard and earn it, but just be a good person and things will align right, or at least give you that opportunity to try to knock it out of the park.
And I think you start with do the right thing. You guys, you had this idea. Then you have to think strategically of how you're going to pull off what you're about to do. And then you pull in the champions.
Yep.
Get in touch with yourself, what you're about, strengths, capabilities, limitations, and then find those epic badasses that can help fill your gaps. And I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, but you really, really can't be settling.
No, absolutely.
You really can't be settling. So you might have to, you just do it. That doesn't mean you have to, you'll do a short term with somebody.
Human,
you'll do a short term. I'm not saying we're abusing people and using people, but like you need to understand the level of where you want to go. And then you get teammates like you got. That spike the ball every time, all the time.
Fast.
And yes.
Like we made it happen. Like I told him, like, what's going to happen now? Like,
yeah, it's magic.
Yeah,
it's magic. Magic.
So,
and
we flipped the switch,
and it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. I can't do what I do without all the people who support me. Johnny's going to be out here saying,
I can't wait.
You can't do it without Johnny.
No,
we're going to go.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now.
We went and spoke to all the Naval Academy folks that were getting ready to go and become SEAL officers. And we did a knife bill with them. Johnny spoke up there at that. We got done with the event, and I was very nervous because, trust me, those people are measuring everything. And I was like, well, we'll find out true litmus tests of whether we were worth a shit or not. Got done, and they're like, hey, we just only have one request that you improve. And I was like, ooh, what is it? And they're like, we just want you to expand the program, include EOD guys too. And I was like,
gotcha.
Okay. So we double the workload. Like they loved it. We're set for May.
Awesome.
And and our team, we get together on a regular basis to rehash. How do we get better? How do we work it? We never rest on. We're not shooting for perfection, but we're always looking for a better way of doing things. It's a very fine line. It could go bad if you're shooting for perfection. Life's going to get ugly. Yeah. It's unobtainable. But not settling.
Yeah. When you settle, we talked about this more. Like, I feel like settling is complacency, in a way, and you don't want to let that stop.
When you start settling, you're dead.
Look what people that are like 70, 80 years old, and when they settle, they die.
There's no settling.
Yeah.
There's no settling. And it's comfort is the first symptom of you're done.
Yeah.
Don't get comfortable.
No.
Don't get comfortable. I purposely stay slightly uncomfortable because I'm like heading someplace. So this is the sled dog. So
okay, I remember you mentioned that. Yeah.
When the story on the sled dog. So back in the day when I made it through selection at Damnick, I showed up to the team room. It was like surreal, like this room on steroids times 20 and pure carnivores in the room. And I mean, carnivores. And got in there. I'm like, my primary job was to shut the hell up and just do my job, show up on time. Anyways, I get in there and a couple of guys pull me aside. And they're like, hey, we're the sled dogs. Nothing happens here without us. Officers come and go. This machine runs by us. National Mission Force, the biggest missions anybody's going to get on the planet.
Damn.
Run out of that room. And they're like, we run it. We own it. We're the sled dogs. And they were letting me know on no uncertain terms I had a level I needed to perform at. eventually you become senior. And once you become senior enough, you're not a sled dog. The pipe hitters are the pipe hitters.
Yeah.
You might have been a pipe hitter. You ain't a pipe hitter anymore. And I always appreciated the sled dogs throughout my career. And so I felt it was important enough to put on my shirt just to remind me, it's like,
yeah,
this ain't me. This is my team,
mm-hmm.
the sled dogs.
You got a hell of a team.
I do. And, it just keeps me in check, and it gives them some pride too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good shit.
It's badass, man.
It's good to be a sled dog.
Jimmy, man, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us. Is there any good website that we can tell everybody that they can check out?
Valhallas Mission Force.org.
Okay.
Go on there. You'll see some stuff. A lot of initiatives. We're a little bit of a grassroots thing right now. So if they go on there and help us out, that would be great.
Yep. We'll tag you guys on social media too. I love what you're doing. It's cool. I think I like how you're opening it up to more people, first responders and all that. So hopefully whoever's listening, and we'll love to partner up with you guys and get people out to Frying Pan Tower. I mean, I know Richard, the owner, would love to have you guys out there.
That's cool.
Just to kind of get away. It's a piece of paradise. There's not many other places like that in the world where you can just go out in the middle of the ocean and just lay back and relax and experience something that nobody will ever see anywhere else. It's pretty freaking cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's make it happen.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.